tongue so long. It's a wonder the thing ain't gone, but I'm still right here trying to tell you that all the things that you said were wrong, and all the ways that I don't belong, you were wrong about it. I'm just wondering, when you gonna hear me, when you really gonna hear me saying the same thing to you for so long. Always got something to prove, always needing something new. Too many words that I can't cut through, made me tired to be with you. Always thinking that you know best, that ain't what I've witnessed. Tell me who you're trying to impress, you ought to just talk less. When you gonna hear me, when you really gonna hear me saying the same thing to you for so long? When you gonna hear me, when you really gonna hear me saying the same thing to you all along? Took a shot but it ricocheted like Mercury in retrograde. Well, everybody got something to say, and you always got something to say. I got something to say, so when you gonna hear me? When you gonna hear me? When you really gonna hear me saying the same thing to you for so long? When you gonna hear me? When you really gonna hear me saying the same thing to you all along? When you gonna hear me? When you gonna hear me? Oh, when you gonna hear me? When you gonna hear me? Are you ever gonna hear me, babe? Are you ever gonna hear me, baby? Are you ever gonna hear me, babe? Are you ever gonna listen?
Blue Cactus on Radio Bristol from their new album, Believer, Bite My Tongue, performed in a studio session here at 3rd Street Coffee House in Roanoke. Steph Stewart and Mario Arnez joining me. The last we spoke inside a radio studio was 7 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was for your self-titled debut album, which, as I recall, was recorded at a friend's house.
Yeah, it was our friend Nick's house. He had a home studio in his spare bedroom, and yep, we just took it over and knocked the album out.
Yeah.
And before that, before there was Blue Cactus, there was Steph Stewart and the Boyfriends.
Yeah, so the Boyfriends started as an acoustic string band. It was really kind of before Americana was a genre that I was aware of, but that's absolutely what we were doing, just kind of that old kind of Appalachian Americana music around one microphone. And Mario came into the group kind of early on once my buddy Omar and Nick were playing with us, and Omar knew about you from Florida. No, Nick wasn't even in the band at that time. That's right.
Yep.
So anyway, we've had lots of boyfriends over the years, as you might imagine. And Mario was down in Florida. Luckily, Omar had been a good friend of his and got him to move up to North Carolina just because he knew that Mario needed to be a part of our music community there. And I think within like a week or two of you moving up, you were playing a gig with us, right?
Yeah, we were playing at the Museum of Art in Raleigh, and I figured, like, oh, this is good. Yeah, yeah, and so he stuck around, and then over the years that band just kind of naturally kind of got less active because folks were having kids, moving away, and things like that. And it ended up being I had one boyfriend to play the gigs with me, and so that seemed like we needed a new band name at that point. And we were playing more projects, or we were writing new music that was really different, I think, from that more country stuff. You were starting to play electric guitar, and so stuff during the boyfriends didn't make sense anymore in a lot of ways.
Where did the name Blue Cactus come from?
Well, Mario is to thank for that. When we first got into our Western wear craze, which we still very much love vintage Western wear, we just have switched it up a little bit. The first shirt he ever bought was somewhere up in Virginia, I believe.
Strasburg.
Yeah, Strasburg, Virginia. There's a vintage store there, and he found a shirt, some beautiful like desert scene embroidery, and I just happened to realize later on at one of our first gigs, I was like, wait a minute, is the cactus on that shirt blue? Is that like a blue cactus? And we were both sensitive, I think, at the moment to trying to find a band name. And I swear, as soon as I said it out loud, I thought, I think that's our band name. And I always joke, but it's kind of true. We don't really agree a bunch on things. So whenever he liked it and I liked it, we kind of took that as the sign.
Well, in the early days of the band, you did wear some flashy outfits, and now it seems like it's more minimalist.
I got a really exciting suit that I wore for a music video that's out now for This Kind of Rain, and that suit was embroidered by a chain stitch designer who goes by the name Jukebox Mama up in Nashville. She just made a beautiful rain suit for me, but a Western wear rain suit, and then I got into embroidery over the past couple of years. I learned how to chain stitch by hand, so I've made shirts to go for my band to match that suit, and we wear those when we got the whole band together. We're trying to really impress people. They're kind of fun to break out, and I think I've kind of really gotten into I really like flashiness, but I think we've realized it's okay for me to be flashy, Mario to do his thing. We don't have to match all the time. We kind of let each other wear what feels good.
On the minimalist note, yeah, sometimes, as much as we love Western wear and a lot of it's gabardine or, wool, if we play a lot outside in the summertime, you got to pick your battles.
You need a band for the winter.
That's great. Blue Cactus on Radio Bristol, performing in a studio session at 3rd Street Coffee House in Roanoke. The new album is Believer. I'm Luke Church. Let's hear another track off the new record. What would you like to perform for us?
I think we'll play Resolution next. Ready?
If I could tell you one more thing, I'd be softer, wouldn't be so mean, and I'd just listen to what you say. When you're looking away, you ain't gotta say anything, anything. I could see you come next spring, I'd shower you with love, kisses raining from above, and we go dancing when the music plays. I ain't no Fred Astaire, you don't seem to care anyways, anyways. If I could tell you one more thing, I just listen to what you see.
Blue Cactus on Radio Bristol, performing in a studio session at 3rd Street Coffee House in Roanoke from their new album, Believer, Resolution. I'm Luke Church. Steph Stewart and Mario Arnez joining us at 3rd Street. Songs on this new record go back a ways. Did you just decide to delve into your catalog of unreleased material to put on a new album?
Yeah, I think we're kind of both always working on songs independently, and we have like our little files. But some of these songs, it was a really cool process because some were ones that we had written and just kind of put in that file. But there was like a time that I was like really prolific, throughout the course of the pandemic, really. I was writing a lot of songs up until right before we had the session even, and a lot of these songs, the majority of them, I'd say except for like one, really hadn't been played out live. So they were very like skeletal, and we didn't have like a ton of direction really in how we wanted them to sound necessarily. We were excited to collaborate with the artists we were working with in the studio and like figure that out together. So we were just coming in with like, here are the bare bones of these songs. They have melodies and chord progressions, but like, let's figure out how we want to develop them together. Like, what do you guys think? And a lot of times when we've made records, the songs have been played out live for a while. So we have like an idea of the band sound, and it was cool to just be in the studio and really like let ourselves discover that process more as a group.
And did the musicians with whom you recorded this album appreciate your collaborative approach?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, they're the folks that we did the session with back home in Chapel Hill and Pittsburgh. Very much, it's very much a relaxed session where we just roll in. If we say 10 a.m., we get there, and, that's just when you're starting to get the coffee going and get everything set up and, make sure you get your drum sounds and all that, and we'll get to it when we do. And we had like a 3-day session for that first...
Yeah, for the first session.
For the first round of songs we did.
Yeah.
And, yeah, a lot of just hanging back and listening and coming up with fresh ideas without a big agenda. I mean, at the time, we weren't even necessarily charging forward on trying to complete a record. It was just, hey, let's get together for a couple days and see what we end up with.
That is a very organic approach.
It was really liberating. And then, we recorded the other half of this album in Nashville with a totally different crew of musicians and a different producer. And I feel like, for me, it was really... Yeah, very liberating to go into a session and not feel the pressure of having to make an album. And maybe I just need to, it's a placebo effect, I suppose, but at the time it truly was not really the intention of the project. It was just, these songs are new and fresh, we like them, we want to figure them out and get them recorded with people who we're excited to work with, And so I feel like we found the right players really to suit the songs, to really play to the songs and their strengths and fill them out.
And you have some great guest vocalists on this as well, Aaron Ray and Britt Taylor.
Two of our favorites. We were just so thrilled that they could join us on the record.
And how did the other players come together? Between your base in Chapel Hill and Nashville. And is this the first time you recorded in Nashville?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. So we recorded with a friend of ours, Whit Wright, who is an amazing pedal steel player. Plays with Thomas Rhett, and he had built a studio at his place and was looking to work together with some folks. He actually hit us up, and we were definitely in that spot where like, yeah, we should be working on a new record or doing whatever it is we need to be doing.
Got some songs.
We got some songs ready. Let's do something. And he really just tapped his network of folks that he knows around there, which is as you'll see in the liner notes, is a great network.
Indeed. And the guy doing the mixing on your new album, he's worked with a young lady whose name many will recognize.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Taylor Swift. He mixed her all the Taylor versions records. And then Russ Paul, I think, was just such a really wonderful gem to have on this record because, having another electric guitar player who's so seasoned like that, I think it was very fun for Mario to get to play with him, and he played some steel on it as well. And
yeah, it was amazing.
And this wasn't one of those situations where you traded audio files back and forth to get the production done. You were all together. Must have been nice.
Yeah, definitely being in person, and there were definitely some things overdubbed, but we were together for most of it, and certainly the chord tracking. Yeah, that process is always very magical,
Yeah, it was definitely a dream hanging out in person while Russ Paul was tracking. I'm very glad that wasn't a remote.
Yeah.
It would have been very easy for him to do a remote thing, and it was amazing that he could come through and just hang and do it while we were there.
Steph Stewart and Mario Arnaz, Blue Cactus on Radio Bristol, performing in a studio session at 3rd Street Coffee House in Roanoke. Let's close out with a performance of my favorite song on the record, This Kind of Rain.
Yeah, we'd love to play that one.
Everyone says when it rains it pours. I ain't seen this kind of rain before. Soak me to the bone, nowhere to hang out and dry. And all the ones with all the answers ain't got the time. They're running round in circles on an uphill climb. Sunshine in a memory, close my eyes. I don't know if I'm getting better, if I'm getting worse, but I'm getting by. Seems the older I get, the faster time flies. Waiting for the good thing just passing me by. Lying to myself when I said it's alright. Oh, and I don't know if I'm getting better, if I'm getting worse, but I'm getting by. Oh, where's that silver lining? How long must I keep on climbing till I can see it shining over me? Oh, where's that silver lining? How long must I keep on climbing? I know I'm gonna see it shining over me. Oh, and I don't know if I'm getting better, if I'm getting worse, if I'm getting better, if I'm getting worse, if I'm getting better, if I'm getting worse, I'm getting by. Everyone says when it rains it pours. I ain't seen this kind of